What's up, y'all? I got a question. Are you getting enough protein? Now, that sounds like a simple question, and it sounds like it should have a simple answer. But I know many of us who have got started on a fitness journey have been told at some point, hey, protein is important. It's been drilled into our heads that we need to get enough protein. You may be sold on that and think, okay, cool, now what? Because when they say enough protein, like from what? What kind? How much is enough? All those are valid questions, and that's what I'm going to answer in this video. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Chris, strength and fitness coach for Black Diamonds Fitness. There's a link in the description for coaching if you're interested. So let's go ahead and dive in. So first of all, when people are talking about getting enough protein, you need to think about like why you're getting the protein. So protein is good for three main things when we're talking about how it applies to changing the way your body looks, feels, and performs. And that is building muscle, preserving muscle, and curbing hunger. So those are the main things that you're looking for from your protein. If you're trying to achieve any of those things or trying to lose fat, protein's something that you need to be conscious of. So what does it look like to get enough protein? If somebody has not answered this question for you, I'll give you a simple rule of thumb. Quick and dirty is you need 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. That's good enough for most people. If you want to dial it in a little bit more, you can say per pound of your desired body weight. So say you weigh 200 pounds now, you want to weigh 150 pounds, then you want 150 grams of protein. Pretty easy. All right, that will get you majority of the way to your answer as far as how much protein. 1 gram per pound of body weight. So what is a good source of protein? It means that the material that you're going to consume has a high or acceptable amount of protein per unit. Now, that sounds kind of complicated, but it's not really complicated. Basically, the more pure protein it is, the better the source for you if you're looking to just get protein. Now, why does that matter? That matters because depending on your goal, you can't just say, hey, I want to get 150 grams of protein and that's going to get me skinny. Nuts have a decent amount of protein. They're also very high in fat. If you eat 150 grams of protein worth of nuts, then you will go over the calories that you probably want in order to lose the fat that you want to get. So you can't just get protein at any cost. You have to weigh the trade-offs for how much protein for how much of whatever else, whether that be fats, carbs, any other thing that you're trying to either consume or avoid. So for me, I'm thinking the purest forms you can possibly get is obviously going to be your straight up meats. Majority of your lean meats are going to be majority protein, a little bit of fat depending on what the cut is, and it's not going to give you much for carbs. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about pure protein sources. If I get a chicken breast and it's 22 grams of protein, then that means that for that particular item, I'm probably looking at around like 88 calories, something like that. When you add in the fat, that's where the other calories come in. So if it was just pure protein, it would be around 88 calories. Since it's not pure protein, majority of the time when you get these cuts, they're gonna have some amount of fat in it. It might be 100 calories, might be 110, something like that. So if you're getting something that's a high protein source, in this example, 20 grams of protein, and it is somewhere between 110 and 120 calories, you're good. So you can use that rule of thumb for anything that you are looking to consider whether it needs to be included in your diet plan, meal plan, whatever. So that's the good source. The next tier I'm just going to call your acceptable source. So an acceptable source of protein to me would be at least half of the calories are from protein. So what might that look like? That might look like milk. Let's take the milk example. If you got skim milk is almost half and half carbs and protein. So basically you would get, for a cup of milk, you'd get 8 grams of protein, you get 8 grams of carbs. Put those together, you've got 64 calories. Actually, that's a little bit off because skim milk is like 80 calories per cup, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it's pretty close. It's pretty much 8 to 8, or maybe it's like 8 to 10 or something like that. About half of what you're consuming is calories from protein. So you're good to go. That's acceptable. Now we start to get into where I'm going to say unacceptable / questionable. So part of the reason I'm even doing this video is because my wife asked me the other day. She said, where can I get protein bars that don't taste bad? And my question was, why do you want to eat a protein bar? It's like what's up with that? And she was like, well, you know, I need more protein and I need a good source, but I want it to taste good. Like, the problem with protein bars or anything that's supposed to be a protein supplement is, what are you trying to accomplish? If you're trying to accomplish weight loss, which most of us on this channel either are trying to build muscle or we're trying to lose weight and not lose muscle, what you care about is making sure that you're getting quality calories. So what you don't want to do is have whatever your protein item is be majority of anything else. So the things that will go on your no list, I don't care if you go to the store and this thing says protein on it. It might have protein all over the label. Doesn't matter. If it's not on the nutrition label, you don't care. What you need to look for in the nutrition label is that at the bare minimum, protein needs to account for 1/3 of the total calories in that item. If it doesn't at least account for 1/3, then it's a no-go. Do not depend on this item for protein. It is not your go-to protein source because you're getting other stuff that doesn't go with the protein. It's adding to your total calories and it could be hurting your progress. So what does that look like practically? Let's use our 20-gram example that I had earlier. If I get something with 20 grams of protein, then it cannot have more than 20 grams of carbs, and it can't have more than 10 grams of fat. What does that look like? What that essentially looks like is 80 plus 80 plus 80, basically, roughly, giving you about 240 calories. Now, I'm being generous on this. Like, calling something that gives you 20 grams of protein and 240 calories isn't the best trade-off, but that's probably the best you're going to get for like a protein bar. So protein bars, like I said, anything that says protein on it, if it's any less than 1/3 of your calories, then it's a no-go. If it's 20 grams of protein and it's more than 240 calories, cut it out. If it's 10 grams of protein and it's more than 120 calories, cut it out. Like, it's really just that simple. I've talked longer than I'd plan on talking on this subject, but just to kind of sum it all up, meat is really the way you want to go. If you really want to save time and not have to think about it, if you can go with a dairy source like milk, or you can even go with something like beans. Beans is a good half and half carb protein source as well if you're going half and half. And if you are just really stretched and you can't pull one of those, you need to grab something on the go or something like that. A good rule of thumb is just that no more than 1/3 of your calories can come from protein. So if it's 10 grams of protein, can't be more than 120 calories. 20 grams of protein, can't be more than 240 calories, etc. So if you found this helpful, definitely like, share if you know somebody who could use this information. Application for strength coaching is in the description. And other than that, that's all I got. Peace.